Hi, thanks for joining into this fortnight's video blog. Hope you're doing well. Here in Australia, we're enjoying a few more freedoms, the lifting of some restrictions, and with the warmer weather coming into summer, I think people are feeling a bit more hopeful, albeit nervously hopeful. I'm very conscious of the fact that's not true. If you're linking in from maybe the other side of the world or the Northern Hemisphere, you may not be feeling quite so optimistic. So we feel for you, and thanks for being part of this. Today is week 2 of 3 weeks where I'm talking about a really crucial subject, the subject of culture. I think culture is really important in any organisation or business or church or not-for-profit. And last fortnight we defined culture as those unspoken shared values. Those values we own together, those values that are almost semi-automatic for us. How we view other people, how we value people, how we work together, how we communicate with one another, how we make decisions, how we collaborate, the importance we have on relationships, particularly in the workplace. All of those things are part of culture. And so my particular and specific thought this time is, as a leader, you are the chief curator of culture. As a leader, you are the chief curator of the culture in your organisation. This word curator is coming back into vogue again, and it used to be we just think of a curator in a museum or in a gallery, but curator just simply comes from the Latin word to care for. So you are the guardian, the caretaker, the custodian of culture in this case, and as a leader you are the custodian of that culture. For a long time, culture has been seen as one of those we called soft skills of leadership, things like in the same category as wisdom and integrity and vulnerability, as compared to what's known as the hard skills, the vision, the mission, the strategy, the focus on the KPIs. And sometimes we've looked sort of disparagingly at those soft skills, but thankfully, more and more these days, those soft skills, and particularly culture we're looking at, are seen as having a great impact on the effectiveness and the performance and the KPIs and the vision and the mission, etc., of the organisation, very much integral to that. So I'm really grateful that that's become a more recent emphasis on that. And as the leader, you are the curator. You cannot delegate this task. You may have a director who looks after HR, you may have a department that looks after things like culture, but you are the chief curator. You cannot delegate it to someone else because people are looking to you and looking at you as to how you value people, how you make decisions, how you communicate, how you collaborate, how you develop relationships. People are looking to you for that. You cannot delegate this at all. You are responsible ultimately for the culture in your organisation. And there are some reasons why this is so important. As I've already said, firstly, that the culture does have an impact on the bottom line. It does deeply impact our KPIs. The culture makes a difference in that. You can have short-term results with unhealthy culture, but it won't be sustainable. And over the long term, you will lose those results, and you'll certainly lose the people who need a good culture to stay and to work effectively in an organisation. And keep in mind, there is a difference between achievement and fulfilment. Sometimes we think they're the same things, but we all know people who have achieved much, maybe in the sporting field, maybe in the business sense, maybe in the financial sense. They've achieved a lot, they're high achievers, but they're empty inside. They don't have a sense of fulfilment that you have when you achieve something with great culture in the way you've achieved it. And in an organisation, people need good culture to sense that fulfilment of the achievement of the vision, mission, etc. They need that good culture to add to that fulfilment. That's important. Secondly, culture is a mixture or a combination of what you allow, what you build and what you allow. And sometimes these two are in opposites because, for example, it's often the allow bit that we forget about. So we choose and we want to build a culture of healthy and rigorous conversations, robust conversations. but at the same time we allow bullying, we allow gossip, we allow unhealthy conversation, we allow hypercriticism, and we wonder why we don't get the culture that we wanted to build. It's because we allow the opposite. Or maybe you want to build a culture of innovation, but you punish failure. So somebody in an organisation who attempts something to make a difference, a new way forward or an experiment, and it doesn't work, then if we sideline that person, or if we make them feel a failure. I'm not talking about someone who fails because they're lazy or slack or indolent, but somebody who's wanting to make a difference and it doesn't work, then we sideline them, or we come down heavy on that person. Then we won't build a culture of innovation because no one will want to do that again. And so you get this mixture of what you want to build and what you allow is important. I think third thing to say is this: there is always a culture. And if you do not intentionally aim to build a healthy culture, your organisation will still have a culture and it may not be healthy. It may be a combination of many cultures, but it could be unhealthy. It could even range into the toxic area, and toxic culture always works against what you're wanting to achieve. Toxic culture always works against the impact you want your organisation to have. Toxic culture will work against that. So culture is really crucial, and remember that as the leader, you are the chief curator of that culture. You are the custodian. You cannot delegate it to anybody else. Hey, I hope that helps. That's certainly all my aim is to help, and we're going to check in again in a fortnight's time for the third part of this culture series. But I hope this has helped in the meantime. As a leader, you are the chief curator of culture. Hey, take care, stay well, and we'll have one more video before Christmas. And I trust that as you make preparations for Christmas, that the hope of Christmas you will see in the midst of those preparations. So stay well, take care, and we'll see you in a fortnight.